The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. Yeah!
Hi, welcome to this week's edition of the Pool Guy Show. Today I'm going to touch on what to do if your pool has been hit by a wind event, or if you service pools and you've had some winds like we've had here in California with the Santa Ana winds. I've touched on this before, but I think I'm going to go into more detail with some other aspects of wind cleanup in this podcast. This podcast is brought to you by InyoPools.com. InyoPools has been helping pool owners find the right pool parts in 2001. With over 50,000 pool parts in stock, order online today and have the parts delivered right to your door. The podcast is also brought to you by the Riptide pool vacuum system. And the Riptide is a powerful vacuum system that picks up large debris off the bottom of the pool rapidly. You're going to hear more about the Riptide in this particular podcast, so stay tuned for that. You can learn more about the Riptide at www.riptidevac.com. I'm also excited to announce my first pool product that I created. It's called the Hole-in-One Basket. You can learn more about it at my website, www.holein1basket, and the one is spelled out, so that's holein1basket.com. And this is a skimmer basket that I created with a hole in the bottom, and it may sound counterintuitive, but the hole is actually for a suction side cleaner. So if you have it connected to the skimmer, you can slide the hose through the basket and connect it, and all the debris will be trapped in the basket as if you had a skimmer basket in there. So check out my product. You can also learn more about it at my website, swimmingpoollearning.com. And I also want to mention my free app that's available for your Android or iPhone device. And you can learn more about that on my website, swimmingpoollearning.com. And you can download it and install it onto your device. This is a great way to have all my resources in one spot. So I'm going to touch today on a wind event. We've had multiple Santa Ana wind events in my area over the last 2 or 3 weeks, along with the fires in Thousand Oaks and in Northern California. So the wind is something that I kind of dread, of course, as a pool service professional. Whenever it's windy out, it's something that we don't look forward to, of course. But there are things that can make the cleanup a lot easier. And one of the things that you can do in a wind event, let's say it's the actual day of the wind is blowing and it's there's gusts of 40 miles an hour or 50 miles an hour. So there's really not much you can do out on your route that day. If you're a homeowner and you're at home and the wind's blowing like this, there isn't much you can do. I mean, it could be even dangerous to be out there when the gust's that high. You may be hit by something that falls from the tree, or even a tree itself falling. So the best advice I can tell you if you're servicing pools on the actual day of the wind event is just do the best you can while you're there. Make sure the chemistry, there's enough chlorine in the pool so it's not going to turn over that week when it fills with debris. But you're just doing the minimal basically and emptying the baskets if you can, and then just pretty much leaving it till the following week. So that happens on occasion where the wind event is actually on the day that I'm servicing the pools, and you're just wasting your time if you're trying to clean it at that point. So just chalk it off as you're going to come back the following week and do a pretty good cleanup. So the first thing you want to do, let's say the day after the wind event you get to a pool, or if you're a homeowner, is remove the surface debris. And that's the key right there. You don't want to work on the bottom at all. Just leave everything on the bottom and just skim the surface. And this may take you as much as 20 minutes to skim the surface, depending on how bad the wind event is. And once you have the surface cleaned, then you would worry about the bottom if you have time. Now, if you're doing this as a service for a living, you can't spend more than 30 minutes at each account cleaning it up, getting it all back in shape. I'm talking a regular 20,000 gallon pool. Yes, if you service pools in a region where the pools are like 40,000 gallons or 50,000 gallons like Texas, there may be exceptions to the 30-minute rule. But as a rule of thumb, in my area and other areas like Florida, Arizona, you don't want to spend more than 30 minutes at a pool because you'll never finish in time. And with the daylight savings, it gets dark around 4:50, 5 o'clock now. And there's no way you're going to finish 16 pools if you're spending 45, 50 minutes at each pool, so that you can't get through the day if you're going to be spending all your time at the account. So 30 minutes is the rule. So the first week you're there, you're going to skim the surface, get the pump up and running at least, make sure that it's got good flow, and then the following week or two even, you'll worry about the bottom of the pool. So it may take a 3-week cleanup process depending on how bad the pool is. And just let the customer know this. If you have a service agreement, it's a good idea to put this in there in writing, saying that in the event of a windstorm, hurricane, or whatever, monsoon, that you can't have the pool clean in 1 week, and no reasonable person would expect you to be there for an hour cleaning out the pool to get it back in shape. You're running a business, and this is not something that's typical of a business, even though in California the Santa Ana wind events are common and they're seasonal, and every October through sometimes March there's going to be pretty big wind events. But with that said, it goes beyond your service to be there for an hour cleaning out the pool. And if you have a customer that's not reasonable, that thinks that you should be there all day until their pool's spotless, you don't need that customer. It's just not something that's reasonable or what's expected of any kind of service. And of course, if you're a homeowner, you can spend as much time as you want on the pool. So if you want to spend 3 hours cleaning the pool and making it spotless, that's up to you. And a lot of people will do that. And if you have the time to do it, definitely just do the whole pool and get it back in shape. But for pool service, we don't have that luxury of spending the whole day there cleaning the pool. So you'll go back the following week and you'll work on the bottom. Now, here's where a vacuum system comes in handy for the pool when there's a lot of debris on the bottom. Because when you're skimming the bottom of the pool, you're going to be stirring up the debris. No matter how good you are at skimming the pool, it's going to take you a very long time to get the debris off the bottom, because you're going to be stirring it up as you're scooping out debris. More debris will be moving around. So it's going to slow you down skimming the bottom of the pool if you're just doing it that way with a leaf rake. I'm going to touch on the vacuum systems in a minute, but if let's say that you don't have the resources to purchase a vacuum system, you can use a leaf master or leaf bagger, and this connects to a garden hose. I suggest bringing your own garden hose. You can't rely on the customer's garden hose to be effective. I suggest getting one of those ones that roll up really small, the flexible ones, and 50 feet, which should be sufficient to connect it to their hose bib or spigot and connect it to the leaf master, leaf bagger. So this device is really handy. It uses the water pressure from the garden hose to shoot water, and it traps the debris into a mesh bag on top. There's some drawbacks. It's very slow, and you're adding water to the pool also as you're going. And it's fairly effective if you don't have the budget to invest in something better. Definitely have the leaf master, because you won't be stirring up the debris as you're using it, as opposed to skimming the bottom. So if you can't afford a vacuum system, there's many options out there. You have the Power Vac, the Riptide, the Hammerhead, and the new bottom feeder that I featured on my channel. And these are all great options for you. I'm kind of partial to the Riptide because they are really innovative, and their system has, I think, they've done more in the last 2 years with their system than the other manufacturers have done since they've been in business for the last 15 or 16 years. So the Riptide is definitely a great choice. So what these vacuum systems do is you've probably seen them on the back of trucks. The Hammerhead is really popular in my area, so you'll see a lot of those. And what these vacuum systems do is they're a separate battery powered. They use a battery, an AH battery, 100 or 35 AH battery, the same battery that you use for a wheelchair, power wheelchair. And this will power a 30-pound thrust motor that's in the vacuum system throat itself. And this is what picks up the debris. It's basically the same motor that you would find on a small boat. And as you're pushing the vacuum system on the bottom, the propeller is spinning, producing 30 pounds of thrust, and this sucks all the leaves into the vacuum system bag on top. There's various bags for the vacuum system. There's finer micron bags, and the Riptide has one that goes down to 60 microns along with the power vac and the hammerhead. So they have the low micron bags to pick up very fine particles. And they also have, the Riptide has a heavy leaf bag for a windstorm to pick up large leaf debris and small particles through, which is perfect for a pool that's been really hit by the Santa Ana winds or a windstorm. So the vacuum system works really effectively. It runs separate from the pool's filtration system. There's no need to have the system running well. A lot of pools that I've seen have really old equipment, and to manual vacuum out a pool that's been hit by the winds takes pretty much forever. So you want to definitely think about investing in a vacuum system. It's the quickest way to clean out a pool. I mean, a pool that would take you normally 40 minutes to an hour to skim out, the vacuum system can finish it in probably 20 minutes. So that's how powerful they are and how effective they are. And so I highly recommend investing in the vacuum system. If you're a homeowner, you definitely, if you have you live in an area where you get hit by a lot of winds all the time and your pool is just getting thrashed during the windy season, you may want to invest in one yourself. They sell them without the carts, so you can invest in one without the cart. It would have a battery box, and I believe they're about $850, and then you just have to buy the battery. So I definitely would recommend getting that, or even the bottom feeder. The bottom feeder retails for about $900, and it's a complete submersible battery system, and it's really effective. It works really well. It's not quite as powerful as the larger vacuum systems, but it'll do the job that you need it to do in the windy situation. So consider that if you're in an area or if you service pools with wind. This will save you a lot of time. So a cleanup that would take you 3 weeks will take you 2 weeks. In some cases, if the customer helps you and does the surface during the week and all that's left is the bottom, you can have the pool done in 1 week. And that's how effective the vacuum systems are. Now, the only drawback with the vacuum system is it'll pick up very, very fine particles or fine dirt. So 60 microns is the lowest it'll go. So if the pool is full of a lot of dirt, it may not be quite as effective to use in that situation. So if you're in a high desert and it's mainly dirt, the vacuum system won't be as effective. It's better with leaves and smaller particle debris. If you're in a fire zone and there's a lot of ash in the pool, definitely going to have to use something else to get the ash out and the fine dirt. So the other thing you can do is you can build a portable pump, and I have a video on this. And this is just basically a 1 horsepower above ground pool pump. I like the Hayward one; it's really effective. And you would just basically put the fittings on the front, so you can hook up a 1.5-inch hose onto it, put a fitting on top for this discharge, and then you would manually vacuum the pool out. Of course, you have to get most of the heavy debris out, otherwise it's going to clog up the vacuum. But if there's mainly just dirt left on the bottom, let's say it's the 3rd week of the cleanup and all that's left is dirt, or if there's not much heavy debris, then you would just use your regular manual vacuum head with your standard pool hose connected to the portable pump. Turn on the portable pump and then pump the water out. There's no filter, and so the water will go into the yard or into the driveway or street. And this is highly effective. You got a 1 horsepower pump with nothing restricting it. There's no filter or plumbing, and so it's just going to pull that water out rapidly. I think 80 to 100 gallons per minute roughly. And it's a great way to clean out a pool if there's ash in the bottom or a lot of dirt. And you can build one of these for about $280. The pump's like $200 online, and then you just need the fittings, and you may need a hose for the discharge if you don't have one. And that's it. And then you have your portable pump. If you do service for a living, you may want to invest in one of the Advantage portable filtration systems, the MiniVac 2 or the PortaVac, depending on your needs. And this is a great way to also pump out the dirt, but you can also use it as a portable filtration system in other situations. So you may want to invest in that. If you call Advantage, tell them that you do pool service for a living, they'll sell it to you at wholesale pricing. So you can get the PortaVac or the MiniVac 2 at a wholesale price. If you don't live in California, they'll ship it to you. I think it's like $250 or $300 to ship it anywhere in the continental United States. So definitely check that out. They also have centers where you can pick them up. If they have a distributor in your area, you can actually pick it up from the distributor and save that shipping fee. So that's an option if you do service, you're looking for a portable filtration system. You want something more than the portable pump that you can build. But in many cases, for the homeowner, or if you're on a budget and you're doing service, the portable pump is fine. It just remember that you have to vacuum the pool out quickly because you're not recycling the water or using it, you're just pumping it out. Whereas with the Advantage portable filtration systems, you can actually filter the water and put it back into the pool, which is definitely an advantage, no pun intended, with those systems. That way you're not wasting water. So depending again on your budget, how much you want to invest in equipment, depends on what you want to do. Those are your options there. And I always say that you can't go wrong with investing in equipment. If you feel like purchasing a vacuum system is too much money, or you're not going to use it as often, so it's not worth the investment, or if buying a portable filtration system is not worth the money because you're not going to use it every day, I think you're making a mistake, because you're investing in equipment that's going to last you a very long time, and that's going to be very useful in situations where you're going to need it. And you're going to wish you had it when the wind's blowing at 40 or 50 miles an hour. And so it's an investment for the time and to save on your wear and tear of your body, because skimming out 80 pools a week that are just thrashed by debris is going to wear you out pretty quick. It's going to wear out your equipment, and it wears on your body and your time, and it just kind of brings you down emotionally and physically. So definitely invest in something that's going to help you save time and save energy. Before, when I was skimming out pools without the vacuum system, I would just come home exhausted, because it's an exhausting thing using a leaf rake to skim out the pools. But with the vacuum system, you're fresh. I mean, you're not doing any work. The only time you're actually doing anything is when you pull it out. It's a little bit heavy, filled up with debris, and that's the only kind of physical work you're actually doing. So it's just a great investment, and it's a great way to clean up a pool that's been destroyed by the winds. So if you're new to the industry and you're going to experience your first wind event, it's going to be kind of funny, because you have no idea what you're in for when you walk back there and see the pools. A lot of guys don't even last. If you're working for a company, a lot of guys don't even last through the first windstorm because the pools are in such bad shape. And here in California with Santa Ana winds, the pools just get totally thrashed. You can walk across the pools almost. That's how much debris is on top in some cases. And then, of course, all of it settles to the bottom over time. And so you definitely want to have the right equipment to do it, to get the pool cleaned. And if you're a homeowner and you have a pool service company, just remember that we don't just have your house. We have another 14 or 15 pools to get through that day. And we can't spend more than 30 minutes on your pool. If you really wanted to help us, you would empty out your skimmer baskets. Of course, empty it out correctly. Have the pool running when you empty it out. That way no debris gets into the pump and clog it up. And you want to skim the surface for us, and that will really save a lot of time. I really love when I get to a pool that's been hit by the winds and the customer has skimmed the surface, and all they have to do is vacuum out the bottom, and that just makes things so much easier. But of course, if you're not physically able to help, we understand that also. We know that some people can't go out there and skim the pool, but if you can and you have the time, it's a great workout and definitely will help us out too. So I always make sure that every customer on my route has a good leaf rake. So if you're doing service, make sure that your customer has a good pole and a good leaf rake. It doesn't have to be a expensive pole. I just get the standard $20 pool pole, leave it there. All they're doing is skimming the surface. And I usually get the low-end purity pool leaf rake. It's like $15, and leave it at the customer's house for them. Most of the customers are willing to pay for that too, just to have it at their house. So definitely a tip there. Make sure your customer has a leaf rake so they can help you if they want. If they don't have the equipment, they can't help you, of course. So that's just a little tip there. So basically, in a wind event, the day of the event is like a rainy day. You can't do much. And you're doing the surface first. Make sure the equipment's running. And then you're going to focus on the bottom. And hopefully you have a vacuum system that you can use. Riptide Power Vac, Hammerhead, or Bottom Feeder. Any of those will be really effective in cleaning up the leaves rapidly on the bottom. Unless you have used one before, you really don't know what you're missing. The power of these things. I mean, like I said, the motor can power a small boat. So you can see the kind of power that's generated by this cleaner, and debris just gets sucked right up into the vacuum system. It's pretty incredible. If you watched the last Riptide video that I filmed, I show a pool that was hit by the Santa Ana winds, and there's oak leaves on the bottom, and I'm pushing it at a normal speed. The footage is not, I didn't speed up the footage of the video. I'm just pushing the Riptide on the bottom, and it's just pulling all these oak leaves and branches into the system, and that's the power of these systems. They're really, really powerful. So hopefully if you do service, you're not going to have too bad of a time with the winds this year. Unfortunately in California, we just been having some really bad Santa Ana wind events. This is probably, I think the last couple of years have been the worst that I've seen, mainly because of the drought. I think it's that we're not getting the rain, so we're getting the winds. So California, Southern California at least, is just being hit by these Santa Ana wind events. But definitely do the steps that I mentioned in this podcast. It'll definitely help you out if you are dealing with a wind event in your area. If you need more help, if you're a homeowner, you can go to my website, swimmingpoollearning.com. I have an ebook and a print book available for you there. And also I have a lot of web pages that are really helpful for you. If you're in the service industry and you want more one-on-one help, definitely think about joining my coaching site. For $10 a month, you can text me, and for $20 a month, you can call me in real time. So it's definitely a great way to get the help you need to expand your business, or if you have questions, or if you need any kind of help. And just the benefits that are offered through the coaching program, the 10% off the liability insurance, the 10% off the Riptide vacuum system, and also when you apply for the insurance, you get the $100 fee waived. So that in itself will pay for the $10 a month membership. Plus, I give you a copy of my book, and you get the support of the group that I have going there in the GroupMe app. And you can also text me, or if you pay for the $20 level, call me in real time. So it's a great way to expand your business, or if you're just starting, or if you're 1 or 2 years in, I can definitely help you out with any questions you may have out in the field. So I hope you found this podcast helpful. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless.
The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show.